Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the H&S podcast. Henry is not here like always, but like always, stepping up to the plate. James, say hello.
A hero's welcome is not needed. It's just what us heroes do. How are you?
I'm actually pretty sick, so if I'm coughing or sneezing or anything during the podcast, or if I go silent, my
Oh,
apologies.
really? Hey, you haven't mentioned it in the group chat.
No, I haven't. I know. But the
What are you
listeners aren't in the group
tapping
chat.
away?
Well, when we're big, we'll have our own Discord channel for everyone to join. But for now, our group chat is our listener channel as well. So, um, yeah, it's been a bit of a quiet
Not
week.
no, it's not. Henry's not going to listen to it.
No, he's not. Well, it's good that he doesn't listen because there's not much to say.
No,
Uh,
no, not much has happened this week in the great game of rugby league.
yep. So yeah, thanks for listening.
Yeah, see you all next week.
Mhm. No, yeah. Look, it's on the screen right now. Screen grab from Channel 9. Please don't copyright us, but Daly Cherry Evans. Um,
What's up with Ches?
Ches last night said this year will be his last year at Manly. That's a bit of
Can't
a
believe it.
yeah. I don't know what to make of that one. Have you got any initial thoughts there, or should I give a
I,
rundown?
I've listened to a few things today. I still don't get it. Like, what's going on?
Yeah, I don't.
Like, where's this come from?
I have no idea. That's the thing, right? Like it seems very well. It's very footy-esque. Let's say that to start off with. It's
Ah, it's rugby league 101.
mm-hmm. It's very much making an offer on NRL 360 to look. Some people might say Cliff Lyon, some people might say Steve Menzies, but he's in the conversation for the best player to ever play at your club.
It's not outrageous
Mm-hmm.
when you say that.
Yep, Clive Churchill, Daly
Yeah,
M, if not,
Dylan Brown at the Knights.
he's he's he deserves that respect, and to make that offer on 360, and then for him to have to respond on 9 is just. And by the way, if you're just a side note that not a lot of people have mentioned, if you're Fox, you're probably frothing that hey, we've got this breaking news, an offer to Daly Cherry Evans.
Yeah,
We've broken the story, and then like half an hour later, that's dead and buried because DCE's just added another layer on Channel 9.
I know. It's unbelievable. Well, you can't make this shit up, but you can because it's rugby league. It happens all the time. Like, it's just like, what? I'm still, I know this is boring, but I'm still shocked. Like, who have Manly secretly signed that they're cool with losing Cherry Evans?
Yeah, and I don't know. And like so the timeline is he told the club in December that he's not going to be at Manly after this year.
Yeah, but the rumor is that he told them he was retiring
Or going
or
overseas.
going to.
And
Yeah,
that's from the CEO, so that could be a bit of corporate bullshit as well.
yeah. So it's like, who who's telling fibs?
And the other I think they're both maybe a little bit of like because it could be DCE wants to retire, he just doesn't want to say it right now.
Yeah,
And it could be the club knows it but also doesn't want the fans to turn on the club.
but then why doesn't he just retire? I
I
don't.
don't
Yeah,
know. I don't
like
get it.
no one's going to be upset if Daly goes, look.
Well, I can't come up with a story that makes sense.
No, no one can. I
Like,
tell you, 360 can't. That's for sure.
yeah,
Um, but I just Seabold wasn't invited to his wedding. I'm not. I don't think that's a huge issue. When was Seabold's first year? Last year, or the year before?
2 years I think.
Not. Yeah.
Yeah, a year before.
I don't think that's a big
Much.
deal
Yeah.
that Seabold didn't go to his wedding. Um, I just mm, someone's got to have roared at the cap, right?
Hmm.
And gone, hey, here's $2 million, and he's gone, yeah, righto. That's the only thing that somewhat makes sense to me. Someone goes, we will pay you $2 million come to us next year,
Mm.
and he sort of doesn't really know how to say, I don't want to be at Manly anymore. Why? Can't tell you.
Yeah, look, and it is hard to say no to Nick Politis as well. Like, if you're Daly Cherry Evans and he's coming up to you with $2 million in his hands, how do you say no to Nick?
Mate, no. It'd be Arthur Laundy and Gus Gould, mate. We don't partake in any of that nonsense, please.
No. Yeah, maybe something's gone on that nobody's saying. Maybe it's just like, when you're with an employer for a while and you're just like, oh, screw you, I'm leaving.
Mm,
It
yeah.
it could just be that. Like, at the end of the day, they've been there for a while. Somebody in the past might have done something. He might be over it. He might be looking for a change. Like, Manly is his
Okay.
employer. He's not, he grew up in Queensland. He played for Redcliffe. Like, it's not a. I'm sure he feels.
Like, is he going to the Dolphins? Like
Um,
that
maybe, but what would you?
that
Unless,
romantic story. Like if you don't want to compare, if you like, you've either got two options, right? You go somewhere to try cherry pick, um,
very nice.
a
Premiership.
premiership, or you go home.
Hmm.
But all these rumors of the Bulldogs or the Roosters, I'm like, hey, we have Sam Walker, who would be your 5'8" or your halfback. They're your two halves. I don't see how they work together. And then the Bulldogs, I think they're more than a Cherry Evans away. I think they're still. I know they get Leo Thompson next year, but I think they're still a second prop away.
Yeah.
And even Leo Thompson, has Leo Thompson shown you that he is the alpha dog of a pack?
No. Yeah. You need an old head.
Like,
Um,
does he go to Brisbane? Adam Reynolds off contract?
I don't know. They're more than a Cherry Evans away as well, because like when you move out Adam Reynolds and put in Daly Cherry Evans is better, but it doesn't move the needle much if A-Ray is the
No.
loss, right?
Yeah. And
But
so what's the motivation? Unless he's going home to the Dolphins.
yeah, I couldn't tell you what the motivation is. That's the thing, right? Everyone's come out and I think we just take it on face value and stop trying to know what
Yeah,
DCE is gonna do and be like, fuck it, he's playing with Manly this year. Next
yeah,
year is next year. We'll see what he says. Like, unless a credible leak comes out,
yeah,
it's
yeah,
because none of it makes sense and something's missing. We're missing a piece of the puzzle.
yeah. It's gonna be one of those. It's gonna be a good revisionist podcast
Mm,
once we have the full info.
yeah, but what this means is we can have a lot of fun speculating because I think literally every club except the Storm and Penrith would want him or should want him.
Yes, so that leads me to a fun little thing. I heard it on radio today. Shout out Brian Fletcher, who I saw at Bellevue Hill post office. Um, let's do
What are
a
you doing at the
halfback.
post office?
I drove past.
Okay.
It's hard to miss a head like Fletcher's.
Mm-hmm.
Um, a halfback draft,
Yeah. Okay.
right? Yeah. And I'm not really fussed who goes first because
So we're
we're
just we're
pretty.
just taking halfbacks 1-on-1 or allocating
Who
them to
would you
clubs as
take?
well.
Yeah. So no. So it's Team Shaun versus Team James.
Yeah.
You've got to pick a halfback,
All right.
and it's like so essentially who's the best halfback in the comp, and who's the second, who's the like you know
Cool.
what I'm trying to say?
Yep. And we'll do whoever's team's higher up on the ladder goes first. I don't know the answer to that.
Neither do I, but it also doesn't really
It's
matter because there's only
us.
sort of one number one pick,
Ah, okay.
I
Yeah.
think.
Sweet. If I had to draft somebody, I'd go Cleary, but I'm gonna agree
Yeah,
with your second. So who would you go?
I I'd go Mitch.
You'd go Mitch. Okay. I'd go DCE.
Mm-hmm.
He's in.
So he's third or fourth
For me, he's
at
second,
worst.
but yeah, he's
Yeah.
third or fourth at worst. Unless you like, there's an argument for Jerome Hughes, maybe,
For
but
me, I'd go Nathan Mitchell, then DC and Jerome.
I think there's a bit of context as well, though. Like, if Cronulla signed DCE, they can win a comp. I think they're a
Yeah,
DCE away. Versus if
yeah.
you're, I don't know, if you're Redcliffe, it's a great homecoming story, but you're probably more than a DCE away. And if
Oh,
you're closer,
absolutely they are.
yeah. So then you go probably Mitch Moses.
Mm.
But if your window is open, you take DCE second after Cleary.
Yeah, I won't push back to like I got him third, and it's
Yeah.
only by a hair.
Yeah, and I agree.
And
Like
if you
Moses is
want to
good
say,
too,
hey,
and he'd be
he's actually
second
won it.
if you want a long-term play.
Yeah, yeah. So basically, what I'm trying to say is a top 3 halfback in the game has just gone, I'm leaving. What's doing?
Also, where does Dylan Brown rank there? Because he's just signed for 13 million.
Well, let's just quickly play it up. So we're at 4, right?
Yeah.
Clearmaz, DCE,
Hang on,
Hughes.
let me write this stuff down so we can keep track. Also, the people
Ah,
watching can keep track. Just makes it
So
a bit easier.
you went Nathan, I went Mitch.
Yep.
Then you went DCE.
Yes.
I'll take Jerome Hughes 4th.
Jerome Hughes 4th. I would take who's the 4th? Who's the 5th best halfback in the comp? Because there's a few options here, and 2 of them are at the same club with ARA and Ben Hunt. I feel like I'm missing somebody really obvious though. Luai? Is he 5th?
It's your pick.
Yeah. Okay. I just don't want to have dead radio, but it's not someone from the Cowboys. I think we can wait on Hunt and A-Ray. Titans. You know what? Just to keep radio fun, I'll go Luai.
I'll take Sam Walker.
Of course you do. I'll then take Ben Hunt.
I'll take Isaiah Katoa.
Okay, yeah, fair. I think you're very much a long-term thinker.
Well, I just think I take those guys over anyone except the top 4, to be honest.
Okay. I'm gonna then take Ben Hunt. Oh, I've already taken him. Whoops. I will take, and this is where it gets a bit in the weeds. I'll just go A-Ray to keep the ball moving.
Yeah, that's probably fair. This is where it gets ugly. Jamal Fogarty?
Yeah, I was gonna go him. I was literally gonna say Fogarty.
Yeah.
Which is crazy because he's on the market soon.
This year, like end of this year, he's off.
Yeah.
Isn't he?
Yeah, I think so.
Or is he currently a free agent?
Not sure, but you can talk to him at least on November 1. That'll be the worst case scenario. Who else have you got? You've got Manly. No, I don't rate Nico as a halfback. I rate him as a player. Let's do it as a team from here because it stops us from discussing options because we're trying to beat each other in the draft.
My next, Nico. My next pick was Braden Trindle.
Yeah, tricky. Put in tricky. So we got Fogarty, then tricky, then we'll go.
Then it's tough.
It's really tough. I'm half thinking Pezzett.
Yeah, well, I was. Yeah.
Like if you're a club and you're doing a draft.
Oh yeah,
Pezzett,
for sure.
right?
Yeah. Well, then without question, then.
And then Pezzett. Then who else would you go? Well, we're getting pretty far down the list, and we're not close to Dylan Brown though.
No, I'm almost thinking of before Dylan Brown. Do you move Dearden back to halfback?
I think him and Brown have the same issues.
Yeah.
Yeah. So but who would you rather? Just that 50-50. Who would you rather, Dearden or Dillbacks?
It didn't.
Yeah,
I think he tries harder.
I'll probably go the same. I think he needs less input from other players to be engaged.
Yeah, and I feel like even if he's having a shocker,
he's putting his body in front.
He's still run hard, throw a dummy.
Yep. Whereas Dylan can go missing. Yeah, I think that's a good splitter. Dylan goes missing a bit more than
Yeah.
Tommy Dearden does.
Like, Dearden's effort's always going to be there, even if his execution and whatnot's not going his way.
Yeah, 100%. And that's what you want at training as well, right? So I'll go Dearden.
Yeah, absolutely.
Dearden in the mix. Metcalf probably deserves a spot higher up, I reckon.
Yeah,
I might put him
Metcalf.
after Fogarty. So Tricky would be below him.
No, I'd have Tricky over
Metcalf.
Metcalf.
You'd have Metcalf
Yeah.
over Pezzett.
Just because he's playing.
Yeah, alright, cool. We'll do that then. But what, 1, 2, 3.
And then I was just about to say someone. Lewis Dodd.
14.
Do you take him over Dylan Brown?
Well, I'm taking Jamie Humphries over Dylan. I'm taking Humphries.
Then do you look at other, like, you got George Williams, who played well in the NRL. He's currently over in England.
Look, I think I'm probably going to take Brown over George Williams.
Fair.
I think just because Brown's here and Williams, when he was here, wasn't really lighting it up. So look, but we've got 15 players who we should play halfback before.
Who would you take to play halfback? Chad Townsend or Dylan Brown?
At the Knights?
It's hard because when you start giving context, it sort of can make or break your decision.
Yeah,
but you need someone to play halfback tomorrow.
Without context, I'm going to go Dylan Brown.
Okay.
Because he's just a quality player.
Like, without context, I'd rather have him because once I've got him on contract, if I need to move him, I can. I'd rather have. It's like if I can have Dylan Brown signed up to play halfback tomorrow, then next year or the year after I can get a proper halfback.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
I'll tell you who's not on the list.
Yeah, go for it.
The man who's most certainly there is about 4. What's the population of the planet? 8 billion?
Yeah, close to that probably.
Yeah, well, 7,999,999,999 people in front of this bloke on the list. Henry. Nice of you to finally join.
I'm surprised you know how to count that high.
Mate, you can't rock up 20 minutes late and open with that.
Everyone, please listen up here. These boys said, "Hey,
speak to our
seven
wonderful listeners with that rudeness."
I was only able
They're
to
not
check
in
my
a
phone
lecture.
at 7:00.
Okay, everyone, listen up here. All right, pay attention. Pencils down.
They said, out of nowhere, let's do 6:30. With barely any time for me to provide any yes or no input.
Look,
so we've seen the input you give. We're not that fast if we miss it.
Okay. So I'm sick. I've been sleeping. In case you didn't know, I put it in the group chat. I don't know if I mentioned it yet. At midday or 10:30, Henry says, "Can we do today?" So on the day he's asking to move it, I ask him at, let's see, 5 o'clock. An hour and a half is short notice for you, Mr. Davey, after you made the request to move it to today?
Yes.
Wow,
just
sorry, Your
Highness. I have meetings until late.
Well, maybe you could have told us.
Let's get back to the agenda, guys.
Anyway, Henry, we're doing our halfback rankings. This is all stemming from DCE. I'll plonk it in the general chat for you, just so you can see where we're at.
Thank you.
And you'll notice Dylan Brown isn't on the list.
He needs to get sacked by Para ASAP.
Yeah, and
I know that'll be a different topic, but yeah. As soon as you said that name,
thanks for sticking to the agenda by just changing it.
Yeah,
that definitely aggravated me as soon as you said that name.
You can't help yourself. You just love talking about Parramatta.
Yeah.
I don't know
You're
why.
the only person on the planet.
Yeah. Stop. Just completely upset about them. That's why.
Now, James, let's talk about a name we just mentioned, Jamie Humphries.
Yo.
He was at Manly last year.
Yeah.
Like, what's doing? Like we talk about there's not enough talent. That's not the case. There's just there's
Yeah,
no planning. There's no forethought in
there,
anything.
there- there's a lack of talent, and that talent is in identification and pathways.
It's in HR really,
Yeah,
because they're hiring people who are incompetent. You've got a
yeah,
CEO who gives a 2-year, $1.5 million contract, and the offer's made on NRL 360.
yeah.
Like,
There is some silly boys in some silly roles,
so
Well, what's so
and
silly about that? What's so silly about that?
making a contract offer live on air.
I don't know.
Yeah.
You tell me, buddy.
Henry, don't you have
Oh.
another meeting you might need to go to?
No, just tell me what's wrong with that. Live on air, might as well react.
Well, the contract offer
Spices
should
up
be
the
made
conversation.
directly to the person you're offering it to, or their
Yeah,
agent, not Buzz Rothfield.
especially
How do
when
we
we get.
know? How do we know it didn't go to to DC himself?
I'm pretty
I
sure
don't have much
because
context. I'm asking this question out of
DCE on
where.
Channel 9 said, "Oh, this is news to me." Or if it
Okay,
was made to DCE earlier, the day before, why is the CEO telling 360 if not to pressure DCE?
it's a good tactic to pressure him, right?
It's a shit tactic because now he's saying no. He came out and said no. Blew up
But
his
I mean,
face.
he already said no anyway,
No, he
right?
didn't.
Did he not? I thought that was
In
he
December, he
notified them.
said he won't be at Manly post 2025 and that he will
Yes,
either retire or go overseas. That's what the CEO said, DCE said.
in DCE backed that up, right?
DCE said he told Manly he wouldn't be at the club. That's it. He
Yeah.
didn't say anything else. And now
I mean,
they've gone public with this offer, which I think is stupid. Like, if you want to keep me, you keep it behind closed doors and we do it quietly.
Yeah, like Tony Mastrov today even said, "Oh, we had this chat with Daly in December, and to everyone's credit, it hasn't come out. But AKA, let's all air the dirty laundry now."
Yeah. And then the other thing is you've now given a line for the opposition clubs. Hey, 1.6 over 2 years,
Yeah,
right? Like,
yeah,
forget the
yeah.
forget
You've
the
told
whole
everyone where you're
forget
at.
forget the whole personal and not being a prick boss side of it. Negotiations are not done just between DCE and Manly, right? There's 16 other
Mm.
clubs, and they all now know where you're at.
Yeah, it's that's odd
It seems like a big misstep for me.
because it's like, well,
do you think it's a tactic though by the CEO of Manly, knowing
Well,
that DC
what's
doesn't
the
want to sign,
upside?
says that it's 1.5,
Uh-huh.
and then most clubs might not have the will not take the risk of 1.5
Most
for
clubs
two
won't.
years, right?
what risk is there at one point?
There's
What
no
you know?
risk. 750 for
He's
DCE. He's the Queensland halfback.
his age,
He's the Queensland halfback,
I
bro.
know he's playing. He's still, he's still playing at a high level. Yes, but I'm saying, is it a mind game? Could it be potentially that they think that that's the hand that they're playing at? Is what I'm trying to get
Mm,
at. Yes, no,
mm.
who knows, right? I'm just saying that could be a form or tactic that they're trying to do, where they bump up his um the expectation, what his expectation will be, so that it's harder for other clubs to pick him up.
If I was a club, I'm giving DCE a
What?
mil.
That doesn't make sense. What do you mean?
Yeah, right. Like, if you say 750 a year for DCE and you go public with that, it really doesn't influence other clubs except to say that we're gonna floor at
Yes,
750.
wait. Yeah, we'll start at 8.
Yeah, and I would happily give DCE $1 million
With
a
what
season.
everyone else is earning, absolutely. Like, are you kidding?
Yeah.
You tell me, right? And this is another sort of thing. Everyone's off contract tomorrow.
Mm.
Whatever it is, whatever the circumstances that's gotten us there. Every team is off contract. Every player's off contract. And we start a draft, and they bring them out one by one. We get to negotiate, however we make this up. You're telling me his starting price is not 1.1?
Yeah. Yeah.
I
He
mean,
he's yeah.
Dylan Brown got signed and he's not a halfback and he's 1.3. So
That's where we're coming
Imagine
from.
that. Imagine Newcastle. You feel as a Newcastle fan, Shaun. You
Mate, I'm
wait
pissed.
3 more weeks,
I'm
and you
pissed.
could have DCE for that money.
I'm pissed.
and yeah, that would have been better. You would have DCE for 2 years. Would have helped develop someone like Sharp and whoever else you have upcoming. Phoenix Crossland to help develop them for the next 2
I'm
years.
pissed. I'm pissed. I genuinely and he would have been cheaper than Dillbacks per year.
100%. And you
Yeah.
only have the risk. You only have a 2-year risk where it's probably a less of a risk going for DC versus doing a 10-year contract with Dillbags.
Mate, and call me stupid, but you know how I said
What's
Manly is
stupid?
smokies for the comp this year?
Yeah, I agree
You know
with you
how I
there.
said Manly is smokies for the comp this year?
Yeah.
DCE and Ponga, all of a sudden Newcastle are smokies for the comp,
Oh, 100%.
right? Like, and you save what, 400k signing DCE?
But
You get to
I
keep a
think you'll
little.
agree with this. With um, Ponga and Dylan Brown, you're not smokies for the comp.
No way, not even close.
Oh, the joys, eh?
Hey,
Henry, where do you think he ends up?
I'm just trying to think about clubs that will actually benefit from him. Like,
well, my opinion
if
is
I was,
every club
if
except
I,
Penrith and the Storm will benefit.
yeah, well, I think about what club would really one have the cap space for him, and I mean most clubs do at the moment, to be honest. But who would actually want to take him on to help bolster them would probably be like I can imagine a Dragons being hopeful.
Yeah.
Um, I can I
Sorry,
can
sorry. I'm
imagine
not
them
laughing
trying to
at
be.
what you said. It's just because you just said I can imagine dragons.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah, it's not bad.
yeah. So yeah, Dragons. I mean, anyone really, like you said, besides a Storm and a Panther. Really, most teams, maybe not even a Parramatta, would probably benefit from him. To be honest,
I think
as
Parramatta
a
do
halfback.
benefit.
Wow,
Yeah,
Like
how?
you're
sure.
losing.
Well, Moses goes to 6.
Yeah.
Then you go DC
DCE
7.
play sick.
Well, it doesn't
Doesn't really
matter.
matter what
Yeah.
number you wear.
Doesn't matter. Just plug them both into the halves. They're both quality halves.
Yeah. Personally, I just think
Okay. Well,
the Power shouldn't
if
Power
not
shouldn't go down that route
DCE, then who?
for Parramatta.
Yeah.
Might to develop someone in that 6. I don't know whether you purchase someone like a Lachlan, oh yeah, Lachlan Galvin. I'd rather go for. That's what
I
I would put my money in because you've already got a Moses.
Even,
Not saying Moses is at the experience level as DCE, but Moses is at his peak at the moment. Why would you need a DCE in that position?
think the club's lacking leaders.
They are, and I just don't like. Essentially, I don't want this to be, a grab for someone old when clearly we're pathetic at the moment, and we're not going to be a premiership threat in my eyes, at least for the next 2 years, which is what DC would probably be around for, and I'd rather see someone else develop in those 2 years and give that experience in my game time. If I was
that's
to
fair.
talk about the Parramatta.
What are Manly doing? Who's
They've got
there's big spread in the paper about Joey Walsh over the weekend.
yeah.
They got that large fella,
Yeah, those
um,
are Tony Large and Walsh.
but
They're too young.
yes, I mean, like, cool. Aren't Manly supposed to be in a period, a window? I mean, I don't think they are, but
They're smokies with the quality they've got, and as soon as they lose DCE,
even without Paseka for the year,
I think Paseka's big, but I mean their biggest player that needs to be consistent there is Tommy, right? Turbo, DCE, and Brooks, along with what's his name? Their hooker. Well, I don't know why I'm blanking on his name.
let's just
okay.
leave him then. Why'd you
Croker,
save him?
right? So having those as your main people that can stay consistent throughout the year, they definitely have a chance because their outside backs are probably the fastest in the comp. Their middles or their forwards are probably so, especially with Paseka now out. I mean, they've
Yeah.
got Siwa Takiaho.
Mm.
Who else do they
But
have in there?
yeah. I mean, he's probably seen better days, old Siwa.
Seen better days.
He has, but I wouldn't say Paseka's been lighting up the floor where he's worlds better than Takiaho, in my eyes at least.
Look,
Yeah, no, that's fair. I'll
I
cut
see what
that.
you're saying, and I'm not saying their pack's great, but if they had Sipley, Toff Sipley, Paseka, Jake Trbojevic, and then on the bench you've got Nathan Brown, Josh Aloiai, and Ethan Bullimore. It's enough to win a comp when you go, okay, we've got DCE, Turbo, Brooks, Garrick. Garrick's a bit of a...
He played so well though over the weekend.
He did, but
There was some very dubious defence
yeah,
work.
yeah, that's what I mean. Garrick's a bit of a... But in a good team, he's fine. And their wingers are great too. Like, I think, is it Hopewadi and Saab, and then they've got like people
yeah.
coming. Cooler is quick as.
Who do they have as other options for their wing position? Because who did Hopewadi
Well, we've
take
got
over?
Tommy Surges.
I don't think
Oh
Henry
yes,
understood
Tommy
what you meant.
Talau. Sorry, took me a second.
It's okay.
Is he injured?
I just tell you he's getting picked.
Yeah, I don't think he's getting picked. And
He's
fair
just not
enough.
getting picked.
Yeah, like I think
Yeah.
Saab's fine, and I think that they've picked this week. They've got Lehigh Hopewadi and Jason Saab, and then in the reserves they've got Clayton Fulalo, Ray Vega, he's good too, and then Tommy might be injured, but
No, I thought they would have.
you cut out. Sorry, I think he's gone.
No, I didn't say anything.
Ah, you thought
No,
they
me,
were
yeah.
picked too.
No, I just think they should have picked Tommy Talau over Hopewadi.
Maybe he's injured.
I
Who
thought
knows?
he was having it.
He was rugby,
Yeah,
yeah.
he had a great great season last year.
Yeah,
Hopewadi's a gun.
yeah, Hopper's good. That's
I
what I
don't
was gonna
know.
say. Lehigh's
I don't know.
beastly, man.
I don't know. He got thrown out the sideline. Shouldn't have been playing around the sideline like he did.
Breaking
And then
news:
there's
winger
been
gets taken over sideline.
it happens to the best of them. Yes, I get that, but I mean, I just
Oh, I
feel like he's still.
want this bloke drop for Tommy Talau because of it.
I just feel like Tommy Talau is better in that position at the
Because
moment.
he's got a hot
At the moment,
missus.
no, I didn't even think about his missus. You're the one that brought it up.
Anyway,
That's what I think. That's
halfbacks
my opinion.
in the NRL. Where does Daly Cherry Evans end up? Let's forget.
Well, just quickly, what about the rumour that who is it? Manly are going to move Brooks to halfback, and then
Turbo.
Turbo to 5'8". What's doing there?
I feel like that was fluff. That surely that's not happening. That can't happen.
That is the stupidest thing I've ever heard.
It won't
It's
happen.
probably because AOB is probably going over to the Manly Seagulls and coaching them instead.
Oh mate, this isn't that kind of podcast, all right? Like we can't don't get me going like that, okay? That's on my OnlyFans.
Sorry, I had to bring that up. That's a tactic I see anyway.
And no, look, I think DCE, he'd make a dent at the Cowboys. Do we agree?
Yeah, that's who I think.
Yep.
Oh,
Okay,
should-
let's get this moving.
he should
We've been
go-
toasting for half an hour.
Because
People are sick
okay,
of it.
so
What
it's
about
either
Brisbane? Henry, you been late. Is he going to Brisbane? Could he make a dent there? I think yes.
Because
The
he can make it
Broncos?
dent,
No.
yeah.
Cool.
No.
You don't think the
I
Broncos?
mean, he
will?
definitely could make it. I think he could definitely make a dent, but no, I don't think he's.
I could easily
I don't think
see.
the Broncos even look at him.
I could easily see the Broncos, if it's for DCE, moving Hunt to 9.
I can see them moving on Adam Reynolds.
That would be pretty insane, though. Reynolds, DC, Hunt.
And they just need to find a
Quite
good
an
fullback.
That's quite an old. Quite an old spine
Oh,
there.
if you win
That's
a comp, who cares? But Gold
that's
Coast.
definitely ready. That's a definite a squad that
I
I'd
can
say.
see him going to the Gold Coast. They've got Des and Kieran, and they need a halfback,
Well-
and they're playing bloody.
Yeah,
They
it's
got
good
a spine
story.
full
It's a
8
great story.
fullbacks.
It's a great story, and it could.
Well, they offered him 10 years last time, right? They were the club that
No,
offered him
They'll do
10
Manly
years.
another
offered
thing.
him 10 years.
Oh, Manly did. Okay,
Yeah,
but
that's why
Titans
he's been
tried
there
to.
for 10 years.
And Titans, I thought Titans also offered the same amount, but
Nah.
I guess I'm wrong.
Nah, Manly came in and blew him out of the water. But
Well,
anyway,
yeah, it would be.
I
It would be a
think
good
I'm
story.
saying
But
they rewarded the cap to keep him there that one time.
who's this?
Manly.
Did they?
That's why, yeah. That's
they
why
did a
Bob
risk.
Fulton had to. Yeah, that's why I mean, they sit on 360, so it probably didn't. They're probably 8 trillion under the cap.
Uh-huh.
But,
Negative.
yeah, apparently Bob Fulton had to resign because
I
of
don't know.
it.
Anyway,
Okay, so we
Titans I
go.
think would go
I'm
heavy on
going.
him. I think Dolphins would go heavy on him as well.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
Queensland
agreed.
done.
I think it's Titans or Dolphins for me. I don't think
Yeah.
he'll go to the
The
Cowboys.
Warriors, I think they'd go
Yes, of
heavy on him
course.
as well.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he's
but he
not
wouldn't
going.
go
He's
Warriors.
not going.
Mate, we're not
He's
talking
not going
about
to
where
use
he's
it.
going. We can't predict it because he could retire by the end of the season.
That's all right. That's all right.
Newcastle, we don't have the money, but we should have gone for him, and we should have gone like 1.5.
You'll probably
Imagine
find
a
the money somewhere.
spine. Yeah, like what's doing there? What have you done?
I don't know. I don't
Adam
know.
O'Brien, fair
And
dinkum.
you know what? The DCE news, this news wasn't around, but the news that he's upset at a 1 year offer was. Like that
Yeah,
rumor's been around for a while. It could be fake, but it's been around for a while.
but Adam O'Brien knows better.
Far out. Anyway, Tigers.
Nah.
If
No,
I think they
no.
I think no. I think
Could
they
they
focus on
use him? Like,
Galvin.
yeah, but
I
yeah,
think they don't
yes.
go in the race. I think they focus on Galvin and hope that DCE distraction lets them sign Galvin.
Yeah, agreed.
So that's two clubs, Brisbane and the Tigers so far. I did not think I'd be saying the Tigers uninterested in DCE, but who else is there? Penrith.
Sharks are probably Sharks signed DCE. They put
Yeah, well,
Tricky
welcome to
as
the podcast,
six.
Henry. We've already told the
Put
listeners that the Sharks can win the comp if they sign DCE.
yeah. There you go.
Maybe
Oh,
rock up
there
on
you go.
time
That's
next time.
yeah. Well, yeah. I would yeah. Love to see Kennedy gone and then put Nico at the back there and
They
yeah,
win. They're a threat for the comp. Deja vu for
for
everyone.
sure.
Penrith.
I could see it, but Ivan said today that he's out of their price range.
Cool. Parramatta.
Yeah,
Henry, you have any thoughts?
No.
I like him at Para.
I love him at Parramatta.
Right.
If they get him in a front rower, top A.
Yeah.
And they need a hooker. They need a hooker, to be honest.
I
That's
think
I'd
They've
rather.
needed a hooker for years.
They have. We had Reed, and for some reason we let Reed go, and now look at us.
He's only okay. I think when
Yeah.
the Bulldogs finally win a comp, Reed won't be the hooker. Sexton won't be the halfback.
I think, look, Parramatta, I think, are crying. Like, because everyone talks about, look to the future. You can't just have a team full of 20-year-olds.
No.
And Moses, as good as I think he is now, I don't think he can do it on his own. I think DCE helps a lot. My 2 cents. I know, Henry, you want to look to the future, but you also got to have some people to show you what the future looks like. And I was stalling to think of another club just then, and the Bulldogs. We just spoke about him. They could do with him.
Sure.
100%.
They could.
And then who else have we got? Souths.
If he goes to the Bulldogs,
If he goes Bulldogs next year, so James is about to say it. Sorry. If he goes Bulldogs next year, you think they're a top 4 now?
No,
I don't know if they will top, but I think they're a top 4 team.
I don't think so.
I can see them coming top 4, but not doing too much damage in
Yeah, when you say top 4, I think, are they a chance at a trophy? And I think no. I think they could win enough games to finish in the top 4, but they're not winning the comp next year.
What piece would you say are missing if they had DCE then? Their forward pack?
and a hooker. A prop and a hooker.
Yep.
Yep. Okay.
Souths, yes, could do with him.
Yeah.
And wouldn't it be funny to see Humphries and DCE running around next year when that could have been the pairing for?
Oh, that'd be funny.
Like, just think about it. That's crazy. But anyway, we spent a bit of time on him. Essentially, almost every club could do with him.
Yeah.
and they probably floor would be $1 million a season, in my opinion. Anyone disagree?
Yeah. Well, look. Depends, but
I
I wouldn't have a problem paying him $1 million.
Neither. Henry does. Henry thinks 750 is a bit too high and is trying to send clubs up. But
I'd love to. I think he signs with the Roosters. I think he wants to be in Bondi. I think he's sick of Manly.
yeah, because Bondi's so different. I don't know. It's a very confusing situation, and I
So
don't.
let's end on this. When do we know where he's going?
What's that?
Not where. When do we know?
I think post Origin.
Okay.
And if Manly are hot, I think it could get delayed more. And just like this news, I think media speculation could pressure a decision to come out public earlier than they
So just
planned.
end it.
Yeah. So I know I didn't give you an answer, but
If this derails Manly, I know I just said let's end on that last weekend.
Hmm.
Same Manly, like the gay pride jumper. They didn't win a game after that, including that one. Say they lose the next 10 games, flogged. Do they drop him?
no. No, he's too good a player. You can't. You make everyone work around him. You don't make him go.
But if he's going, wouldn't you want to get some footy into the young fellas?
Who?
They're large and Welsh.
They're not ready. You put them in first grade, they'll get eaten alive. You'd burn
It's the
them.
only one way to get ready.
Well, when are they ready then?
Mate, I think they're
Next
like
year?
18, Henry.
That'll be alright.
Nah,
Get in
no
there.
way. I'm not putting him in there. They're not
Mitch
ready.
Pearce to do it at 17.
Yeah, how did his career end? These guys are not ready.
Pretty good. He had a pretty
Jason.
good career. Would you take
Here we
his
go.
career?
Joey Walsh is
Joseph
playing
Swally.
flag. You can't go from flag to first grade. What was that? Sorry, Henry.
I said Joseph Suali'i. 17 when he started, right?
Latrell Mitchell, he was 18.
No, you're not playing halfback for the Sea Eagles at 18, in my opinion. And even though DCE probably did.
I mean, he can go
Yeah.
6. Brooks, you go 7.
Well, how old was Joey when he debuted?
Who?
Joey.
I don't know. But we're not talking like past examples. Don't like these kids aren't ready. If they were, they wouldn't have signed Luke Brooks.
Haven't you seen a super ad? The best indication for future performance is past performance.
It's actually the best. Future past performance is not an indicator of future performance.
That's all the same.
But it's bullshit because it's the only indicator of future performance. There is no other indicator of future performance. So when you are choosing a super fund, past performance, use it. This is not financial advice. Please don't come after me. No, the kids aren't ready, and I'm not dropping DCE for any reason for Manly for this year.
Right.
I don't think
That's
that's controversial.
him and Seabold are off.
That's fine. Yeah, and on a Tony, I don't even know what he's doing. I couldn't find much on him, so he's probably even younger.
So,
Excuse me.
Shaun hates youth.
Hmm?
Shaun hates youth is what we're hearing.
No, I just don't. They're not ready. Why burn them? They're going to be playing at Manly, guys. They're not playing in front of a huge pack and the team that's doing well.
Ooh, Shaun goes bang. Shaun hates Manly.
Right?
Manly can't win the comp.
Right, if you tell me Penrith we're going to play an 18-year-old 5'8", I'd be like, yeah, sure. I can say that. Not Manly.
Yeah.
But hey, what do I know? We're all
Nothing.
just guessing, right? And let's move on. I'm sick and tired of talking about DCE. Can we actually move on this time?
Yeah.
Yep.
Cool. I don't really have much else to move on to, but a good topic I wanted to discuss on voice was I remember Nelson's nose thing.
Yeah.
Not that specifically, but where should the line be for performance enhancing legally versus illegally in footy?
Well, I'd say anything that enhances performance.
Or is a painkiller that?
Yeah.
Ooh.
If you get needled
Just
up on the sideline
Does a painkiller, does that enhance performance
Yes,
or
because
allow
without it, you
performance?
perform worse.
Yeah, because you're stemming the pain.
Well, then no, you can't do it.
Shoes.
No, shoes.
I don't know.
Shoes
I feel
enhance
like I
performance.
feel like I feel
They
like
enhance
when
performance.
They're
when
also
I when I
you need shoes. Stop. I know if I said be serious, you back well, just where's the line? You need.
I'm trying to yeah, that's what I'm trying to find, right? Where is the line? So it's somewhere between shoes and painkillers for you. Henry, do you agree painkillers shouldn't be allowed?
no, I think painkillers are fine.
Okay, so for you,
The way I define
You,
sorry
you asked the roided up gym freak if pills are okay.
I def-
Westfield
I
Sports Trademark.
define the actual like enhancement as something that gives you more than just a temporary like an hour enhancement. I'm talking about something that not dramatically
So
so because it
cocaine's
can be
okay.
I
so
was
something that
literally just about to say you described cocaine.
no that
That's an
you guys are
hour
taking it out of
enhancement, right?
context. Taking it out of context.
No, no,
Talking
no.
about
Cocaine is banned in sport for that reason. So could someone take
so
cocaine because it's a temporary enhancement for the hour? Is that
no, of
okay?
course not. No, that's
Okay.
not
Well,
what
this
I'm
is the
trying to get
discussion,
at.
Henry. I'm not trying to go at you, but I think it's a really like interesting talk to have. And
I'm
you,
trying to
Yeah,
go there.
and that's what I'm trying to say. You're
so
not letting me
where
finish.
is?
I'm
Oh yeah,
saying
yeah. Sorry.
uh, okay. I'm saying that if something like a painkiller that helps alleviate pain during that temporary time period of them in the game is fine because I believe, at least in my eyes, it will ruin the game if you don't have that ability for them to have that because you'll have more and more players will, and a lot of fans don't realize this. A lot of players are on the painkillers to be able to even play the sport or get into a game for that weekend, right? But as opposed to when you talk about enhancement or like a drug enhancement, I like to define it as something that gives you more of a permanent or semi-permanent increase in your performance, like a steroid that enhances your actual abilities, right? Not saying that painkillers doesn't enhance it. What I'm saying is the way I define it is something that is more semi-permanent to permanent versus something that is only temporary, just to alleviate
But then
pain.
why not coke?
Why not Coke? I
Yeah,
mean,
because
that's
it's a
just blowing
temporary
stuff.
increase in performance. It's not permanent.
Because that's a totally different drug.
But why is coke not allowed then?
Because Coke's not legal in general.
But forget that. We're talking about sports performance. Because there are similar
I, I,
drugs
I,
that do the same thing. And they're legal. But coke's the one that everyone's going to know exactly what it is and how it works. It's a temporary boost for the in-game performance, and it's going to make the product better for fans to watch.
I mean, that's you'd have to give me a better example than Coke, because Coke's illegal. So
I
I
couldn't
can't
give
answer
you a
that.
name you're going to recognize.
Well, give me a name and describe what it does, and we can discuss it.
Let's say
Because
drug X
saying
increases blood flow for the next 2 hours.
Viagra.
Actually, yeah, there you go, Viagra.
Yeah, why
People
not?
will know what that is.
Go
Yeah,
ahead.
okay, yeah.
The-
Viagra,
you'd love
legal,
a player.
increases
You'd love a
performance.
player with Viagra on the field.
Well, I'm
Would
sure there's some
definitely,
players who
yeah,
wouldn't mind that.
definitely bring out a crowd
Mate,
for the women.
we're trying to
Sure.
get the women
Would
involved.
definitely get the women involved for sure.
Yeah, but like,
What
my,
what about alcohol?
I think it's fine. I don't even. I think you can drink alcohol right now and play a game of footy.
Okay.
I think. Look, and just to be clear, just so it's a bit more balanced, I don't think. I think cocaine is performance enhancing. I think it shouldn't be allowed based on how sport is currently run. But I think it's interesting for people to think about where performance enhancing comes into play. Because James, didn't you also say the nasal thing shouldn't be allowed for NAS?
Yeah, 100%. And well, It maybe because did you see the way he played?
Yeah. But you've also stayed consistent and said painkillers shouldn't be allowed.
Well, if you can't play, if you need to take something to play, like it's like I've always been concerned with fast bowlers, and they're like, "Oh, I ducked off for an injection in my ankle or something." And it's like, if you had that, you can't bowl at your speeds or at all. So how's that fair? Like it's also a game of
Endurance.
and like attrition and like it's a tough sport.
It's very interesting, and it's probably a conversation I would have had with you guys, not on a podcast anyway. But we don't see each other, so it's the only opportunity we get. I'm a bit. I don't know where the line is, and I think it's sport dependent. I think in footy, Henry's reasoning of everyone takes painkillers, you wouldn't have a game without it, is pretty true.
Yeah.
Like players pump NSAIDs all day, ibuprofen, Nurofen, for those. Yeah.
But I think that's a big problem. Like you both also bring a good point. Like where to draw the line, because what James is saying there, people relying on the drugs to perform at their highest peak is also a big concern. And do we know the repercussions of them becoming addicted to these drugs in the part, like after they finish
Yeah. Well,
their professional
addiction
careers,
isn't
right?
really the concern for those painkillers, but they do have negative effects on the body if you take them chronically.
And
Well,
what happens when would your body get used to it, and then you need to take more
I
and
don't
more?
know if there's that
Exactly.
effect. I would assume there is, but I don't know.
Hold on.
Yeah.
Eloise, darling, can your body get immune
Resistant.
to like Panadol,
Resistant to Nurofen, ibuprofen,
like resistance to Nurofen and stuff?
kind of like coffee. So, for those of you who don't know, we're asking a nurse.
Shaun, shut up. Don't listen. Sorry, darling.
Mate, it's a podcast. We can't just have dead air.
So I've just looked it up on
Take your
Google
earphones
because
out.
it might be a bit easier. But opioids can be very effective in
Yeah,
relieving
so
pain.
an
However, the
opioid is
body,
not an NSAID.
so the body
So it's a
soon
totally different drug and it's
begins to
addictive.
develop tolerance for the medication.
Yeah.
Through, whereas like if you and I were to take one Panadol or two Panadol a day forever, it would still have an effect on us.
What about more than just one or two a day? How many Panadols do I need to be taken every day to avoid, or it's for them to become?
Oh, it's super subjective. Like it's all like we still don't know. Scientists don't even know how Panadol works.
We know scientists don't know how Panadol
We don't
works.
know how it works.
We know it does work. We just don't know how it does.
Oh my lord!
You'd be surprised.
Talking about rugby league. Let's talk about life.
Well, that's
You know what I
why we're
mean?
not. Yeah.
We don't know how Panadol works, but we know it works.
Mhm.
So how did we get to know that it works?
I don't know.
Someone
taken
took
it.
it
lord.
and
I
had pain
taken
relief.
it and they got pain relief, exactly.
My world has been
James,
changed.
do you want to know something else? We don't know how planes fly.
We really don't know how planes fly.
We can't confirm the physics on how planes
No,
fly.
that's ridiculous. What about thrust and inertia
You know,
and
we know those things,
quantum
but we can't
mechanics?
fully explain how planes fly.
Yeah,
Mate,
but that's everything.
nah.
But wait. What Sean's saying there is the crux of life in general, because science is
Oh no,
built
so
on the
not that
idea
far, Henry.
of.
Not that far. Like I'm not going
But
that far because you could say that for everything. I know what you're getting at.
that's what I'm
But
saying.
we
That's what I'm saying.
couldn't
But
explain to somebody how a plane flies.
Yes, you can.
We're like,
yes, you can.
no, we
It's
can't.
pressure. It's air pressure.
Okay, but
It's
why
lifting
does that
fast.
work? It shouldn't work.
Hold on. I'm asking Grok.
It shouldn't work. Like we've developed planes by people jumping with wings and dying, and then changing things, and then jumping again, and breaking a leg, and then jumping again, and then this flew for a little bit,
No,
and then changed it a little
airplanes
bit.
fly by
No,
harnessing
mate.
four fundamental forces: lift, thrust, drag, and weight.
Yeah, but they shouldn't
Exactly.
work.
No.
This is the
They
upward force
do.
that counters the plane's weight. Thrust. This is the force that propels the plane through the air. Drag. This is resistance to plane encounters that moves through the air. Weight. It is the downward force due to gravity determines the plane's mass. For a plane to take off, lift must exceed weight, and to keep moving forward, thrust must overcome drag.
Exactly.
All right,
So
stick to sports science, Sean.
That it,
I don't know what you're
It
getting
might
at,
not
Sean,
work,
because
it's more of a
that
physical
if
phenomenon that works, but we know how it works. Whereas Panadol is like,
Yeah, we can be amazed that planes work, but we don't have to. Like, yeah, come on, Sean.
yeah, I
You
don't
haven't-
know.
you
I'll
haven't
send you
learned it.
something because
And
I'll
I
send you
think
something to read. Not on the
no,
podcast, otherwise I just read it myself
I
on the
don't.
podcast.
I don't need you to send me something to read. I've asked Grok 3, by the way.
Yeah,
So
and everything I'm getting taught at uni is don't use ChatGPT as an AI, as a search
I
engine,
know.
sorry.
She works with the guy whose wife works for Qantas. So if anyone's qualified, it's Eloise.
Does the wife work in the engineering space
She works for Qantas, mate.
as
That's all
an
you need to
engineer?
know. She works for Qantas.
Anyway, we'll talk about this later, but for the most part, ibuprofen.
No, I found something much more interesting to talk about than rugby league.
Okay.
Yeah, I've got myself looking at what you're trying to
Let's bring
say
it
here
up,
because
okay.
Yeah,
it just does
if
not
anyone
make
has
sense
pending
to
or
me.
something, bring it up now.
Alright, planes.
Because I feel like we're probably going to get a shitload of more viewers interested in this, and I mean, we've just got to
Yeah,
clip
but
what
what
Sean said.
viewers are we
Okay?
gonna get?
I think we clip
Henry
that,
just said
and
that.
we've just
No,
got to.
people are more interested in our takes on aerophysics and fucking rugby league.
Oh,
We spent 45 minutes talking about Daly Cherry Evans. I think we can talk about aerophysics.
Maybe I'm wrong. Let's look it up.
Yes. Oh, Sean, maybe I'm wrong.
No
No
one can
shit.
explain how planes fly. Scientific American.
I mean, if you're taking advice from Americans, I mean, that's the
yeah.
first one.
American, Scientific America, please.
You guys need to start filling in the dead space while I'm reading this.
Oh, right. So, you're reading your fake news?
Scientific
Oh.
American. Fake? What?
No, I'm telling you, Shawnee boy, do not teach aerophysics when you become a teacher.
No, I'll be teaching PE, mate. Hoodies and trainers.
Big
Why
fan,
do we,
buddy.
that's, well, those who can't do, teach. Those who can't teach PE. I'm not teaching PE.
Oh.
Henry said do the hissy. Not you, Henry, Ma, the Asian Henry.
yeah, you do. You have to hit him.
I have to do hizzy. I'm going to do hizzy.
What is hizzy for the viewer? For the
History,
History, science.
science, interesting crap.
interesting crap.
Wasn't it used to be
Sure.
HSAE, didn't it?
Mm.
Is it still HSAE?
Yeah.
History.
Yeah.
Hissy, mate.
I'm very
Yeah.
interested
I
now
think-
in what
no,
Sean comes
that's
up
not-
with here.
Human society and its environment. Because they change. When you were, what year did everyone graduate?
2013.
Yeah, I did 13 as well as you, Henry. Sean, what were you? 17?
Uh,
No.
Probably 2020.
20,
After that,
2015,
yeah,
graduated
yeah.
last year.
TBC.
Playing.
Yet to graduate. No, see, what year was it?
2013.
Were you
2013
2013 as well?
Yes, of course.
What year were you born?
96.
95.
Oh, you
Oh,
were the year
96.
up. I knew you weren't. Yeah, okay.
Oh, he's just.
Because when we graduated, it was PDHPE. I don't think it's PDHPE anymore, is it?
No idea. I think it is.
Yeah. Okay, while we're waiting for Sean to come up with that, James.
Look, I'm just to move it along. I'll say I'm wrong.
What-
How's
what-
a
what-
movement
I'll just say
science?
I'm wrong.
Okay, so you're wrong.
Fine.
I was
So
going
have
to
you
say.
admitted defeat Sean?
Yes. I'm a
He's
Knights
admitted
fan. I do it
defeat.
every
We
week.
know, we know how. You know
that's
how
the part
planes
that
fly. Thank God, I can go on another holiday.
What was this about?
Life. We're
Yeah.
starting a live podcast.
We are.
I don't know how you got up into the enhancements, drug enhancements, and paracetamol.
So
but
seriously though, Sean, when we're both teachers, should we start a podcast called Teachers Life and just talk about life?
Yeah, mate. Have you not seen how much money influencer teachers get?
Yeah,
Mate, it's
teacher
off the
talk.
top.
I'll be the TikTok teacher. Teacher
Yeah,
talk.
yeah. It's
Yeah,
insane.
Billy came in today. I think Billy's a retard.
Mm-hmm.
Billy can't say his own name.
saying that. I don't think you'd be saying that, but yeah, sure.
Yeah, okay. Billy got detention today. Didn't show up because Billy can't hear.
Well-
what are we doing?
Okay.
I got a PlayStation out
Okay,
to play.
I mean, we got to. Yeah, I think we go through
Mate,
who our team picks up the week.
yeah,
in my
I have
eyes,
no
and we
idea what
finish
we're
the
doing
week.
anymore.
Let's just end this off so that people can tip what we tip. One
Yeah,
word,
let's do our
quick
tips.
picks. Yep, quick picks. One word of why you think they're going to win. Let's go, James. You can go first. Rabbitohs, Panthers.
Panthers. Don't really need a word.
Sean.
Panthers.
Panthers. Okay. Yep. Panthers. Because Panthers. Okay. Roosters, Titans.
Roosters. Big win. 13 plus.
Shawnee.
Chooks.
Chooks. It's at home. It's not in Queensland. Next game we've got Finns and the Broncos.
Broncos. Been
Shawnee?
suck.
Broncos?
I'm going Broncos.
Mm.
Suncorp. Dragon Storm. Jamesy.
No Hughes, no problem.
Hey, Jubilee Stadium.
Storm.
Storm as well. Cowboys Raiders. Are we going to see some kind of performance out of Cowboys this week, or
Nope.
so?
What? Sorry.
James going Raiders.
I'm going Raiders.
Sean?
Ricky wins last week, so he's going to win the penalty count.
Oh shit! Who wins this?
It's in
It's in North
Queensland.
If
It's
it
in
wasn't,
Townsville.
I'd be tipping the Raiders.
Yeah, it's in Townsville. It's hot. It's a lot hotter up there than down in the ACT.
I know it's a one-word thing, but I
Thanks,
I
Tim
don't
Bailey.
know.
I'm going Cowboys Clifford.
I'm going
Okay.
Raiders backline.
Okay. Sharks Bulldogs. Sharks.
Oh,
Bulldogs.
I'm going to... No, yeah. Where's it at? Sorry?
Shark Park.
It's at Shark Park.
Yeah, I'll go Sharks because the Bulldogs still got a few out.
Yeah,
Shawnee?
I think I'll go Sharks quality, which is James's reason. Few out.
Yeah, I'm going Sharks tricky. I think he's just having phenomenal start of the season.
Yeah, the
Sea Eagles.
have the quality.
Sea Eagles Eels.
Does DCE get booed?
No.
Oh.
See, other
So?
fan bases aren't as fickle as the Roosters, mate.
Yeah.
Mate,
Well, Parramatta did boo Brown.
When we went on to win the comp.
Yeah, but
A gentle booing doesn't hurt anyone.
no, I'm
So,
going Manly.
James. Yep, Manly and wide. Sean?
I'd probably got to go Manly.
Much like the first 5 games, I don't think I need to give a reason why. Sorry, Henry, I don't want to make you sad and just point out.
Fair enough.
everything.
Yeah, I'm going Eels. Parramatta will do well.
Yeah, sure, mate.
West Tigers Warriors is the last one, or second last one.
Where's it at?
It's at Campbelltown.
Oh, I'm going to break my cardinal rule here and tip the West Tigers. The Warriors were disgraceful last week. That's how bad the Roosters were.
God.
I'm going
Honestly,
Warriors.
I don't like.
is that?
I don't like how similar I've been to James this week because I'm also tipping the Tigers, and I also, when I did it, was like, oh shit, I haven't tipped the Tigers in like 3 years. So yeah, Tigers.
Do it right.
Okay, and then last game, Knights versus the Bye.
Oh, this is a tough one. I'm going to say Kalen Ponga field goal gets the Knights home against the bye.
Yeah, but see, what
Yeah,
you're not
I have to agree
considering
with you there.
is who joins Ponga in the cubicle now that Kurt Mann's at the Bulldogs.
Probably yeah.
Ooh. Well, we all know he's got form for it. Dylan Brown in the future.
Ladies of Newcastle, beware. Dylan Brown's
Yeah.
on the prowl.
And there we go. Those are the tips, guys.
Just quietly, why is your fan base more annoyed at Dylan Brown leaving than they were at... What did he do to that person at the Dolphin Hotel or Double Bay Hotel or whatever?
Didn't he grab her? Did he grab her? Or he
Think so.
tried to kiss her or something?
Yeah,
Grab their breasts.
yeah. Just footy things.
Sexual harassment.
Yeah. It makes you wonder. But yeah, that's that. Nothing else to talk about really, is there?
No, not really.
Did you want to... Sorry,
I think-
did you want to get into the Big Bang before we sign off?
Shaun, we're not discussing the Big Bang. Right. Well, that's up to you, really. Yeah, let's quickly go there. The Big Bang.
As I might be one of those listeners, what is the Big Bang?
What do you mean? Did you see, Henry? Did you seriously ask what the Big Bang was? No, you did not just ask.
The Big Bang,
Big
Henry.
The Big Bang.
No.
The Big Bang. The only
You're
Big Bang.
seriously asking for the Big Bang.
No, go back.
Henry.
Henry, please.
Science year 7.
For our friendship.
Sorry, is that what you're trying to get to?
Well, no,
Ah.
if we were
Literally,
talking
the
about
whole
the
thing that
Bulldogs in
started
the
the
early
universe.
2000s.
No,
Yeah, we're not talking about the TV show
I-
either.
I thought it was just going to be cricket reference or something like that. I don't know.
No, it's a big bash.
No,
Not what Sean's going to do later.
It's a little bash. It's a quick
The
bash.
quick bash.
Okay, I think we just need to sign off here. I think this is
Why?
going
This
from.
is fun. All right, listeners, goodbye. Thank you for listening. Does anyone else want to say bye? Should I cut it there?
No, you just gotta do it.
No.
Yeah, all right, cool.